Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Women in Jazz Jam Festival in review. The Jazz Jam Festival. Normally, during this time of year, we will be planning and waiting for artists to arrive, waiting for family to arrive, and setting up, picking up supplies for the festival. But in 2020, we had to postpone the Women in Jazz Jam Festival because of COVID. And because we are experiencing a world pandemic, we are still in, I would like to say, a holding pattern. Or maybe we're just changing and evolving. Maybe we're just evolving. And the Women in Jazz Jam Festival, along with many other annual events, have had to change the way they present artists to the community. And I have, along with many other people, have decided to choose a virtual experience for my audience and friends in my community. So this hour, I want to thank you for joining and checking in with us at the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. We're going to share with you some photos and video from past years. And because Akua Dixon graciously shared with us some of her her archives, her footage, we will share video of Akua Dixon's past performances this hour. So you'll still be able to enjoy her artistry, even though she wasn't able to come and perform live here in Knoxville. We were looking forward to that so much. Akua Dixon is one of those artists that I have enjoyed as a radio host playing her music. And I was definitely looking forward to sharing her live with our community, our jazz community here in Knoxville. So this hour, I'm going to share with you all some of the history of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival, past musicians and performers, and I'm going to share with you all just the information behind the behind the scenes information about what it takes to organize a festival like this, just in case you're thinking about doing something like that, or you just want to know how it all works and how it's all put together. I'm going to share that with you this hour. So you'll learn about the organizing, you'll meet the musicians and the artists, and we'll enjoy some great music. And most that's the most important part. So that's the most important part. In between the great music, I'm going to share with you all some of the background of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So I hope you all enjoy, and we'd love to be in communication with you, in conversation with you this hour. If you like to, if you're watching online, you can join us in chat, or you can leave a post on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page for the festival. You can leave comments there and we will get back with you. Or if you just like to share this video and share this online, you can share our domain, womeninjazzjamfestival.com. This presentation is being aired from our domain, womeninjazzjamfestival.com. Also, you can find it on YouTube. It's streaming live from YouTube. I hope you all enjoy. I hope you learned something. And I just want to share with you all this hour, and I won't stop saying it, but I just want to let you know that if you don't support, we don't exist, and don't leave the women behind. So as you watch this hour, I want you to think about those things. Don't leave the women behind. And if you don't support, we don't exist. So enjoy. This is Akua Dixon up next. Before any music had been played, before any stage had been set up, the idea for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival came from a feeling. I had a feeling. It was really a reaction. In 2015, a group of organizations and services that support women were asking for a Women's Day to be acknowledged in Knoxville with proclamation. And at the time, the county mayor would not sign the a proclamation to make it Women's Day in Knoxville. And when I read that in the paper, I just felt like, don't women deserve a day? Groundhogs have a day. Don't women deserve a day? What can women do that what can a woman do that denies her redemption, even if it's something you don't agree with? Don't women deserve a day? Well, that made me think about ways that I advocate for myself. Like, how can I advocate for myself that's specific to my needs? And how can I do that and help other people um, who may identify with the same needs that I have? And that made me think that I needed to find a way for women to support women and a way for um, for people, for the community, for everyone to support women by first watching women support women. That was important to me. And as I thought about who I was as a person, jazz music and being an artist were at the top of the list. Those are being a jazz musician, being an artist, being a woman, being a Black woman. Those are the things that are like at the top of my list of like who I am and how I function in the community. So I've thought, how can I serve other women? How can I serve other women jazz artists? And I thought I need to help them have a platform, and I need to help them build relationships with each other, because I thought that that was one way for us to build a connection to opportunities and to create opportunities for each other, is to build relationship, to be in relationship with each other. And so having a festival and having a platform for women to present, and having a platform for women to interact, build relationships, and create a network. Because in the end, it's those relationships, it's our relationships with each other that cause us to do things for each other and to care and be there for each other. It's the relationships that we build by sharing time together, by communicating, by chatting with each other, by messaging each other, by calling each other, and just being there. So I felt like I needed to create a platform for us to build relationships, and that's basically what I did. It was the idea was to build relationships between women musicians and vocalists, build relationships with venues, have those people build relationships with sponsors. And so it's all just about connecting. How can we, in what ways can we connect women with each other, connect women to opportunities and to audiences? So that was the idea behind the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes people downplay social media, and there are lots of ways that social media is abused, but there are so many ways that social media, so many advantages to social media, and so many ways that social media can be used to help. And that definitely was the case with the Women in Jazz Jam Festival, because one day when I was having all those feelings and all those thoughts, I made a Facebook post saying that somebody should start a festival, or somebody should start an event to support women. And at that time, Amy Broyles was still I think she was a county commissioner. She was a commissioner, and Amy Broyles was the first person to reach out to me to say, "Hey, that's something that needs to happen because she was um, she had a women's history, a women supporting a women's history initiative herself. So she definitely related to that. And she is actually a former neighbor of mine. I lived in North Knoxville at one time. And so Amy Broyles reached out to me. She met with me. She told me, she was like, I want to put something behind this. I want to put some support behind this. And she was the first to do that. And when she did that, it was like confirmation for me, like, okay, I have to do this thing. There are people who see the need, like I see the need, and there are people who are ready to support. And so I just created a Facebook event. And that's how it started. I just picked a date. I just picked a date. I didn't have a venue. I didn't have a flyer. I didn't have artists. I didn't have anything. All I had was that support, and I set a date. So I created a Facebook event and set a date. And then everything else just came into play after setting that date. So I set the date on Facebook. And when I did that, it became real. People saw it. And then I decided that what was also important, in addition to supporting women musicians, women vocalists, was connecting to organizations that were led by women, connecting to venues that were uh, supported by women. So once I put that out there, different things started happening and people started reaching out to me. And really, that first year, was people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I saw this. It was shared online, social media, and I want to be a part of it." So I was able to find assistance through Appalachian Community Fund, led by Margot Miller. They were our fiscal agent, which we needed to take care of the financial things. I contacted Visit Knoxville with Kim Bumpus and her staff. They supported by helping me in the beginning, helping me organize and think about organizing in the beginning before the festival was even, well, before an artist was even booked. And also, so I had Appalachian Community Fund. I had Visit Knoxville. Um, the organizers of Girls Rock helped me. I also had Deborah Dillon with Knoxzine helping me. So I had all these different people who were behind me and supporting me uh, in in organizing the Women in Jazz Jam Festival before an artist or musician was even booked. So the community came together because the community saw the need, and I was just functioning as the the facilitator. I was just pulling all the all the support that I was receiving together into one festival. So once those people started offering their support and helping me and guiding me towards creating the festival, then I could start thinking about what the festival would look like. So once I knew more about what the festival needed to look like or what it could look like, then things started coming together. Well, right now we're going to enjoy some more music from the artist that was scheduled to be our guest artist for the 2020 Women in Jazz Jam Festival, Akua Dixon. This is Akua Dixon up next. It's me. I'm back, Kelle Jolly, founder of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. I shared with you all earlier the history of why I started the Women in Jazz Jam Festival well, I started planning it in 2015, but the first one was held in 2016. And I share with you all the connections and the partnerships that were made with women led organizations in the beginning, the support of people like Amy Broyles, Margot, Kim Bumpus, Girls Rock organizers, the connections that were made uh, to begin planning the festival. Well, what did the festival look like at first? Hmm. Well, it still consisted of partnerships, and I had to partner with a lot of people to make it happen that first year in 2016. Once I started receiving funds, I was able to lock in venues and get things made. And one of the partnerships that I made that has been very fruitful for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival and has really made the festival what it was our partnership with Michael Gill at the Knoxville Museum of Art. Michael Gill is the producer of the Alive After Five concert series at the Knoxville Museum of Art, and we we partnered. We partnered together to create an event that was the introduction or the beginning of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival weekend. So the festival was held for 3 days the first year. And on Friday, we would have a concert at the Women in Jazz, the concert for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival at the Knoxville Museum of Art. So this was really good for us because that meant that all I had to do was find artists to play, and the KMA could take care of everything else. So for a first year organizer of a festival, that was really a blessing of to have that, to partner with someone who already had something going on. And that is one tip that I would give any organizer is don't try to do everything by yourself, make up everything by yourself. Help and partner with people who already know how to do the things that you're trying to figure out. And that definitely happened with my partnership with Michael Gill and the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So Michael Gill agreed to feature the Women in Jazz Jam Festival collective band. And that's how it started. That's how the idea of having the collective band came to be. And really, that is the focus, the seed, the center of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival movement or festival or idea is that the performance at the KMA gave me an opportunity to hire a large group of musicians and vocalists to come together and perform. And that collective group was made up of performers, musicians, vocalists from this area, well, from Knoxville at first. And then it branched out as the festival became more known. It branched out and we got people from the region that were from Chattanooga and surrounding areas. So the KMA performance consisted of a 2 hour show of musicians that never played with each other before. As a vocalist, I have the experience or the past knowledge of knowing that a lot of times women musicians, women singers, women vocalists don't know each other, aren't familiar with each other because they're playing in bands led by men who usually only have one woman in the group or one woman in the band or one woman vocalist. So what that does is it creates a competition for a spot. And whether that competition is imagined or real, we experience it. We experience it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's uh, aggressive between the women. It just means that we don't really have the opportunity to learn and play with each other because of the roles that we accept in other people's bands. So a lot of a lot of times I would say many times, a lot of times, many times, whatever. uh Many times women aren't familiar with each other. They don't have those relationships. Remember how important relationships are. I talked about how important building relationships are. Women just don't have those relationships with each other because of the roles that they've been playing. They've all been um playing that one role, the one role of one woman in a band, one woman vocalist or one woman pianist, if there is a woman, and in a male led group. So they don't have those relationships. So the partnership with the Women in Jazz Jam Festival and the KMA allowed the festival to hire 15 or more musicians to play all at once. And that really, I think, if there's anything that, um, any benefit to having the festival or anything that resulted out of the festival that was beneficial, is that women musicians and vocalists in this town now have relationships and are familiar with each other. They don't have to look at pictures of each other and say, I wonder who that is, or I wish she was my singing sister, or whatever. Now they are. Now there's a group of women musicians and vocalists here who have the experience of playing with each other. And many people ask, is it hard for women to play with each other? I feel like it's I feel like that experience was unique in that we definitely manage ourselves or interact with different language and different body language, different verbal language. And I'll give an example of that. At our first rehearsal for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival Collective, we were able to rehearse at uh, the rehearsal space that was managed by one of our members, Deidre Ford. She leads a She's the only woman that leads a big band in Knoxville, and they have a rehearsal space. She was able to make arrangements for us to use that space. And so we had the most beautiful um, space to use after we left the bop shop, because we first, David Biffins let us use the bop shop, but then we moved to as we grew, we moved to Deidre Ford's space, and we were able to use that space. And our first rehearsal we had at her space, there were big, beautiful signs out in front of the house that let us know where we were. And I was like, you know what? That was so, I would say, motherly for someone to be so considerate to leave signs, so that we wouldn't get lost trying to find the rehearsal space. And I just laughed to myself when I saw those signs, because they were big, and they were big white signs out in front of the house that everybody could see, so we wouldn't have to question whether we had whether we were in the right place. They just let us know we were in the right place. And that was once we moved out of the bop shop, out of David Bivens's bop shop, to the rehearsal space that is owned by Deidre Ford, one of our members of the collective. So we communicate differently, um, and you definitely felt the difference. The other difference that we experience in the Women in Jazz Jam Festival Band is that we definitely, before we started playing, always took the time to check in with each other. And that really set the pace. That's something that I learned from Carpetbag Theater and Linda Paris Bailey, is we always check in with each other. We always welcome each other into the space, and we always um, are considerate of where everybody is coming from. We try to be. And that's how we set the tone for our rehearsals and our performances. And it definitely made a difference and was important to the way we conducted ourselves as a group. So that collective group that rehearsed, that came together, was presented at the KMA because of Michael Gill and Alive After Five. So we're going to continue on now with more music from our scheduled artists for the 2020 Women in Jazz Jam Festival cellist Akua Dixon. I hope you are enjoying this review so far. That was Akua Dixon. She was our scheduled artist for 2020, and she would have been coming from New York City during the weekend that everything from COVID just kind of um, exploded. And so, for safety and health, we just decided to postpone the 2020 Women in Jazz Jam Festival, and we weren't able to bring Akua Dixon to Knoxville. She was an artist that I was familiar with as a DJ at WUOT. I play her music when I can, whenever she has vocals on her album, because she does sing sometimes. And whenever she has vocals, I play them on my show. But you can also check out Akua Dixon online. She would definitely appreciate your support. And I want to talk about, I've talked about how the festival started, some of the partnerships that have been valuable to the Women in Jam Festival. I talked about Michael Gill and the KMA and all of the people that were there uh, in the collective group. And I'm going to share more video and uh, more photos from those past years where we had so much fun at the KMA. Even my family would come from Michigan, New York, South Carolina, Atlanta to participate in the festival. And really, it's become, for my family, a time for everybody to come and visit Tennessee. So I'm really missing it at this time. I'm sure you also have your ritual or patterns of events that you like to attend and participate in throughout the year, and are feeling the void that's been left because of our of having to observe certain health regulations at this time. But I just know that I just have to know that it's for the best for us to have our health and the health of ourselves and the health of our communities if we observe those health regulations at this time. So hopefully it'll be worth it, and we'll be able to resume some kind of live experience in the future. But while we're observing those health regulations and rules right now, we can enjoy each other online like this. So if you would like to leave a comment or a question or a suggestion, please do that in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. And also, if you are watching on our Facebook page or sharing online, please leave us a comment, a question, or a suggestion. You can email me at Women in Jazz Jam Festival at gmail.com. You can email me at jazzjam with KJ at gmail.com. I receive all of those messages. So thank you so much. And remember, if you don't support, we don't exist. So if you are feeling like you are needing that interaction with an artist, hey, adopt an artist, adopt a musician, support them, find somebody to sow into, as my cousin Broderick Rice says, sow into at this time if you're feeling like you need some artistic inspiration or some musical inspiration from an artist. So let's continue on with more. Learn more. Let's learn more about the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So I told you how I started off by partnering with the Knoxville Museum of Art and Michael Gill, and that gave us our first event, the Alive After Five with the Women in Jazz Jam Festival band. That happened every Friday of every year of the festival. Saturdays sometimes consisted of circle talks, vendors at various times in different years. And we also had master classes. And one of our guest artists, Christina Watson, she gave a great master class that my mom still talks about to this day. And Christina got her to sing a little bit. So we have had master classes. We've had different activities led by people like Monica Ware, and we've also had great Saturday night concert performances. The first year, Christina Watson performed. We had Venus, the all girl band, who brought the house down at Scruffy City, the West at Scruffy City have also generously allowed us to use their venue for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival, which was beautiful, beautiful space to use, easy to work with them, and gave us great, beautiful footage from the Scruffy City Hall. We've had artists like Shayla McDaniel. We've had the Fifth Woman Poetry Team with Red Carmen's group. We've had um so many different artists, and we're going to share a slideshow of those, so you'll be able to see some of the artists that have performed. For the Saturday night concerts we held for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival, we also always featured a local artist, a regional artist, and a national artist. So when you go back and look, you'll see the video and footage from those performances. I just this time I want to thank those venues for allowing us to perform in their spaces and working with the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So thank you so much to all the past venue owners who have allowed us to be there. I also want to thank the people that got the audiences to those places, all of the media outlets, WUTK, Knoxville Style Magazine, Blank Magazine, Blank Newspaper, Knoxville Music Warehouse, the Mercury, Maryville Daily Times, Steve Wildsmith and his great writing, Knox Zine, so many different media people shared information about the Women in Jazz Jam Festival and made sure that audiences and helped us get audiences into those venues. So you all definitely played a major part in the Women in Jazz Jam Festival being what it was. The venues for holding the events, the media for promoting it, all of the TV stations, WATE, WBIR, everybody at Live at 5 and 4. Thank you so much for presenting and allowing me to come on and talk about the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So thank you so much to all the media. Thank you to all the venues who helped make the Women in Jazz Jam Festival what it was. And you know what? I'm not I don't want to say um, that the Women in Jazz Jam Festival won't be back in the future, but uh, we definitely came together to create something beautiful, and it was because you gave us a platform to do that. Um, so thank you so much. We're going to enjoy now some more music from Akua Dixon, cellist, composer, arranger, Akua Dixon. I can't say thank you enough. I thank the sponsors, the partners, the venues, the media. Uh, I can't say thank you enough. And I'm going to continue to say thank you because it's because of you that the Women in Jazz Jam Festival has become something that has brought pride to Knoxville and to all of the people who have participated in it. So I'm going to continue to say thank. I'm just going to keep saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Up next, here are some of the musicians and vocalists from the festival. Thank you. Again, I'm full of thank yous, endless thank yous. I can say thank you to the vendors, the sponsors, the performers, the venues, the volunteers, the media. Uh, I'm just full of thank yous. But I really want to um, remind you all and let you know that the scheduled artists for the 2020 Women in Jazz Jam Festival were Kukuli Uerte, and she's going to say, "Why did you say my last name?" Kukuli Uerte, Nancy Westmoreland, and also Akua Dixon. And hopefully, what it, whatever the Women in Jazz Jam Festival becomes in the future, we'll be able to present them in a beautiful way that they deserve. And until that happens, you can find these artists online. Kukuli. Kukuli has a show coming up for the Tennessee Theater, and um, they have a series coming up that you can follow online at the Tennessee Theater. You can go to their Facebook page or their website and find Kukuli's show. Nancy Westmoreland out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, is performing online, I think, and you can find some of her information on Facebook also. And then Akua Dixon out of New York City, cellist, composer, arranger, Akua Dixon, who you have been hearing this hour. My name is Kelle Jolly. I'm the founder of the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. And like to say thank you again to everyone who's been watching. Leave me a comment in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. And again, I'm full of thank yous. I can't say it enough because I look back on the years and what the festival was able to do. And I think about the friendships, the laughs, the cries. Ooh, the cries, y'all, the cries. I remember the first year I panicked. Everything felt calm, but I panicked at the end because I thought I wasn't going to have enough money. And then I got a call. I mean, the tears were coming, and then I got a call, and that call was sponsorship that was going to take me over the amount that I needed. So hey, sometimes the tears, you need the tears to wash away something, to open up something. So the tears came and then the blessings came. So Yes, there have been lots of laughs, lots of tears, lots of friendships, lots of smiles. Hey, lots of dancing, lots of singing, beautiful playing, beautiful horns, beautiful faces, and beautiful people with the Women in Jazz Jam Festival. So I just want to say thank you all. Thank you, Knoxville, for making it happen for the Women in Jazz Jam Festival since 2015. So thank you so much. Continue to take care of yourselves, continue to take care of each other. And I'll see you all in whatever form the Women in Jazz Jam Festival takes in the future. Thank you all. Be safe. Remember, don't leave the women behind.
Hey now, we could one more this all night long, but done it. I mean, they're going to be doing it tomorrow night. Come see them tomorrow night over at the Emporium. They got this is like a weekend long festival, so go check it out.